It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, news editor here for Yavapai Broadcasting. And joining me today is Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project. Hannah, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's good to be here.
And now, for those who don't, we're talking about the Yavapai Reentry Project, which is a special program to help get former inmates or those being released from the Department of Corrections back into society and kind of making that transition easy for them. So can you talk a little bit about how this project got started and maybe just a quick overview for those who don't really know too much about it?
Sure. So in 2010, Matt Force held a conference on collaboration, and that's kind of where the idea of the Reentry Project came out of, with a lot of different community players at the table talking about how do we get former offenders the things that they need and help them navigate the community once again. So in 2011, Community Council stepped up for the funding for an AmeriCorps Vista member who did all the research on reentry programming, what's been successful. She knew that she needed to do a mentorship component with the project, so she really built and designed our programs. So for people coming out of the Department of Corrections who go through the enrollment process with us, we have two programs. We have our Community Coach Mentorship Program, and we have an independent referral program. And in our mentorship program, that's where we match somebody coming out of the Department of Corrections with a volunteer in the community to help with resource referral, emotional support, and just making that transition back into the community smoother.
And I think it's important to note here, this is for people in the Department of Corrections and in state prisons, not just not in jails, correct?
Yeah.
And what's the difference for those being released? I know we were wondering about when you are released from, say, Department of Corrections, what is the process without this Yavapai Reentry Project? What's just the normal kind of, I guess, procedure for being released from a state prison?
Sure. So people who are coming out of a state prison are typically going to be released on some sort of community supervision, so parole or probation, unless they max out their time. And when you're on community supervision, you know, you're going to be working with your correctional officer to design a release plan. So you got to secure your housing. Community supervision checks out your housing, approves it, and then, you know, you get back up here. And
so once you decide, I mean, this is a program for people who are about to be released back into society, and for a lot of these people, it's been years. And you know, before the show, you mentioned someone who it's been 10 years since they've been back in society. And how does the process get started? I mean, how do these people who are in these facilities get word of this program?
Sure. So we get a list from adult probation that gets a list from the Department of Corrections that has everybody coming back to Yavapai County in the next 6 months. And so we send everyone who's coming out 100 days before their release a copy of our brochure. So we just did our mailing for November releases yesterday. So people who are coming back in November are getting word of our program. And we keep track of everyone who's coming back. You know, we're watching if their release date changes, if their facility changes, that kind of thing, so we can maintain contact, you know, if they're going through the program with us.
So you really kind of, you take this journey with them from when they're right before they're about to get released and go back into society to kind of making sure that they get this transition. And some of the services, like you mentioned, is making sure they find some housing, helping them find a job, reconnect with family. And I think it's one of the really important, I guess, things with this whole program is that you're not just helping them find a job and housing. I mean, that's all a big part of this program, but it's also to make sure that they're contributing to society, correct? And not just kind of giving them a job and a house and just letting them go. It's to help make them contribute and become a contributing member of society, right? Yeah, so this is, I mean, what is the initial brochure that they get or the letter that they get once they're in there? What is it kind of, what's the how are they first understanding about this project? I mean, what is it when they're getting first word about it? How are you kind of presenting this to them?
Sure. So everyone gets a little brochure, you know, like a trifold brochure, and it just kind of outlines what is the Yavapai Reentry Project, why is this important, why should I join, and then also our 2 programs. And from there, you know, there's a tear out leaflet part of it. They put that back in the mail that says, yes, I would like more information. And from there, I send them our application, some more information about the project. And, you know, it's on the individual to fill out that application. You know, we ask a lot of questions, you know, about why somebody's incarcerated, also, you know, what their background is, you know, if they have kids, if they have a substance abuse issue, any kind of, you know, fines. And then the last 2 pages of the application are all about what are their goals. And we also ask for them to write an essay about how they plan on being successful when they come back and not return to prison. So we really want to get people, you know, to think about what's going to make them successful in this transition, because we can give somebody a mentor, we can give them all the resources and information out there, but it's really going to be up to that individual to do the work. So
this has been going on since about 2011, and so far up to this point, how successful has the program been?
We have served over 80 individuals, and we've had 2 people recidivate. So our success rate is about 97.1%.
Okay, wow. So it's been going really well so far. And what does the kind of future of it look like?
Well, we're in transition right now. We have our first permanent staff member coming on board, and so you know, we're trying to maintain our numbers and expand at the same time. So people are always going to be coming out of prison and returning to this area. You know, we have 500 to 600 men and women each year come back to Yavapai County, and so we're just going to grow as people are learning about us. More and more people want to utilize our services. So yeah, the future's always bigger. So
with plans to obviously expand and grow, where's the funding come from for this program?
So previously we've been staffed with AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps Vista members. So I'm an AmeriCorps member serving with the Yavapai Reentry Project, and we got a grant this year to bring on a permanent staff member.
Okay, and it's important to mention that this is a volunteer-based program, and so you guys are obviously looking for more volunteers as this grows. And this is just, the Yavapai Reentry Project is just in Yavapai County, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now are there other of these type of programs across the country that you know of, or is this one of the first ones? So
reentry projects are happening all over the nation, but the Yavapai Reentry Project is the only project in the state of Arizona that looks the way we do and operates the way that we do. And in fact, there are other counties that are looking at us and our model because we've been so successful, and they're wondering what to do with people who are coming back to their community as well. Okay, great. Well, we're going to take our first break. Joining me right now is Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project, which is a volunteer-based program, and we'll touch on the volunteer-based aspect of it when we come back here on Countywide.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
It's so shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Turn here! Same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, joined by Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project, and that's the topic of conversation right now. And this is a program that re-enters inmates, former inmates who are exiting the Department of Corrections, and helps with the transition, getting them back into society, finding jobs, finding housing, reconnecting with family members. And participants have the option to choose between two different programs, and one of which is the Community Coach Mentorship Program, and the other one is the Independent Referral Program. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between those two?
Sure. So the Independent Referral Program, you receive case plan management, monthly check-ins, and you're eligible for some limited financial assistance through the project. And our mentorship program is really similar to that, but there's the mentorship component. So you still get a case plan, you still get monthly check-ins, you're still eligible for some assistance, but you have that relationship where we're giving somebody a mentor. So that's the difference between the two programs. So we have people who are coming back, who are on supervision, who are involved, in all different kinds of activities and have a lot of support, who don't want that mentorship component, and that's okay. That's totally okay. We respect that. And so that's why we have that independent referral program, is for people who don't wish to be placed with a coach. And
the mentors are, as we mentioned earlier, it is a volunteer-based program. So the mentors are volunteers, correct?
Yes.
And now, how, if I'm someone who wants to get involved in this program and help mentor a former inmate, how do I go about doing that? Do I have to have any knowledge or any previous training on emotional support or any of that, or do you guys provide the training?
We provide training, so you don't need any experience or background in, counseling, psychology, case plan management, social work, that kind of thing. Though a lot of people do who come through our program. We do a training, a one-day training. We've been doing them once a month. So you come, it's about 4 to 5 hours, depending on how many people who are there. And you learn about, resource information, providing emotional support, change theory, barriers that people face when they're coming out of prison, so in order to prep people for that experience. So
I mean, they're learning how to deal with multiple, because how do you match a volunteer or a mentor up with an inmate? How is there a special process you go for selecting each of those and bringing them together?
We review people's applications to the project, and we send them a match preference form where we ask, what kind of person do you want to be matched with? And for our volunteers, we do the same thing. We give them a match preference form, talk about the kind of person who they would want to be matched with. If you're okay being matched with somebody who's been convicted of a dangerous or violent crime, if you're a participant in our program and you want to be matched with somebody who's had the experience of going to prison and coming back, that kind of thing. And so the two things that we kind of base the rest of that information off of is gender. So we match men with men and women with women, and then also geographic location, where if you live over here in the Verde Valley, we're going to get you a coach who lives over here. If you live over in Prescott Valley, we're going to get you a coach on that side of the mountain.
So how much, you're trying to get them paired up with someone in that area, and how do you what, other than just helping them exit, the Department of Corrections, what else does being a mentor consist of? Specifically, how do they find housing? How do they find employment? Do you guys work with outside kind of groups and organizations for that? Or what's the role of the volunteer in addition to just kind of mentoring them out of the jail? Sure.
So our volunteers in that sense would help with resource broking. That's what we call it. So they're going to help the person find the agency that they need to secure employment, find different housing. When people come out of prison up here, their housing has already been secured, even if it's for a limited amount of time, but they can work with their mentor to find a place that will rent to them in the future once they get financial stability, that kind of thing going on. on. So, you know, our mentors, ultimately, you know, whatever decision the participant makes is theirs, and the outcome is up to the participant, not the mentor. The mentor is just there to help guide them, you know, to the right places, to have the information. You know, you can go to this place to see an employment specialist. You can go to this, you know, place to talk about enrolling back in school, that kind of thing. Okay, great. Now, something that, you know, there's obviously a group of people who are wondering what is so, you know, what's the benefit? Why are we so worried about these people who made decisions that landed them in jail? And obviously, it is important to make sure that they have a smooth transition, becoming another member of society like they were before. Why is it so important, and why do you take so much pride in helping them with that transition? Sure, that's a great question. So the Reentry Project hits on 3 points, and that's individual success, family stability, and community safety. And those are our reasons, you know, why we need to support people who are coming out of prison. So if an individual successful, you know, if they have gainful employment, meaningful relationships with their family members, you know, if they have access to healthcare, food, that's what's going to keep a community safe. And so that's why we're here. We're here to help people make better decisions and not end up going back to prison. Because, you know, when you come back from prison and living with a felony conviction, it becomes that much harder to find that gainful employment. Maybe you've been estranged from your family. Maybe it was really difficult on your family. We want to make all those transitions smoother, and we want to make sure people don't end up going back to prison. Okay, and so for those who are really interested in volunteering, how can they kind of become a part of the Yavapai Reentry Project? So they can sign up to take our next training. They can call us at 928-708-0100. And you know, they'll want to talk to Rich Young. He's the new program manager. I'll be leaving at the end of this week, so they'll want to coordinate with him around the next training. Okay, and how long have you been a part of this project since the beginning? No, I came on in January 2013, so I have been with the project for about a year and 7 or 8 months. So just within the past year, how has it changed and grown since you first became part of the program? Great. So in this year, you know, we've spent a lot of time with my co-worker, Lenny Goldston. She's the project coordinator. She has done a phenomenal job of building community partnerships and doing a lot of marketing and outreach around the Yavapai Reentry Project, which has been awesome because as people find out about us, you know, there's either somebody who's been to prison or a family member or a friend of theirs has been to prison or is coming out of prison, and they're finding out about us and they want to utilize our program and our resources, and that's really, really exciting. So we've been growing a lot in the past year. Great, great. Well, this is Hannah Johnson joining me right now, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project. We're talking about the volunteer aspect of it. It's a nonprofit organization that helps former inmates transition back into society. So we'll be right back with Countywide.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Get out to the forest.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah! Woo-hoo! Hey, guys, wait up!
And discover the wonders of nature with your family.
These trees are the key to our way of life.
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning!
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great!
An endless forest adventure.
Let's rock this jungle!
Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing!
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, news editor here with Yavapai Broadcasting, and joining me is Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project. And we're talking about how important it is to help these inmates being released, how important it is to make sure that they are helped with getting back into society. And your volunteers play a huge part in that, and you guys are currently looking for more volunteers?
Yeah, so we're always looking for volunteers. Our whole program is based off of having people who want to mentor somebody coming out of prison and back into the area and making that transition as smooth as possible. So, you know, like I said, you know, we have 500 to 600 people returning every year. Not everyone's requesting a mentor or enrolling in our program, but we're always in need of volunteers, and that's what makes this program so successful and unique, is giving somebody that positive relationship.
That personal relationship as well. I mean, I'm sure that plays a huge role. Is you know, they've been in contact with a select group for so long, and having someone else who can help them kind of find an easy way back in, finding housing, a job, or just get back on the track that they were on before they got in there. And I think it's great. And volunteers, again, you guys provide the training for those volunteers, so there's no pre-training or any experience beforehand?
No experience necessary. It's a free training. We just ask that people who want to come and take the training are serious about making the commitment of filling out an application and volunteering with us. And you know what we have seen be so successful about having people who are dedicated and volunteering with us is that our participants feel so honored to have somebody, to be matched with somebody who doesn't even know them but already believes in them and already believes in their potential for success and reintegration.
And that does stuff for them. I mean, helps them believe in themselves in order to get back and kind of turn things around as well. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Again, that's Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project. And for more information, where can people go if they want more information to become a volunteer or just on the program?
Great. People can visit us on our website, yavapaireentryproject.org. They can call us at 928-708-0100, and they can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter too.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, and good luck with everything in the future. And it's a great program, and I hope to really see it succeed. So once again, Hannah Johnson, participant coordinator for the Yavapai Reentry Project. I'm Kyle Benedict, and that was Countywide. See you next time.